Hello, my name's Ben.
And my name's Josh.
And welcome back to FPL Graduates. And welcome back to another Transfer Targets video where we go through our top transfer targets of the week, our top recommendations for transfers in, and a couple of differentials in there too.
Yeah, we had quite a good few of them return last week, which is really nice. So let's see if we can do it again this week with some juicy differentials. So coming in first this week is another goalkeeper pick. We picked a goalkeeper last week as well. It's been quite a big debate in the FPL community this week of who to pick in goal because a lot of people are getting let down by their keepers. For me this season, I had Ramsdale and Nick Pope, and I think between them both throughout this season, I've had about 1 or 2 clean sheets. So it's been pretty poor picking from me. I personally think it's one of the hardest positions to actually pick in FPL. Vicente Guaita is the player that we're going to be choosing for this week. Really nice fixtures for Palace. They've been not kept too many clean sheets this season, but that is due to their fixtures that they've had. They've had some of the hardest fixtures in the league so far. What's your thoughts on him, Ben? Is he in your team, and do you think he's a good option?
I think he's a good option, yes, but I think in general, all keepers this season have been really difficult to sort of pick, and there's not been too many high-owned assets that have done too well. We obviously saw Nick Pope early on, but even recently, he's not picking up the clean sheet points that we want him to pick up. So I think Guaita is definitely a good option with those fixtures that he has. So yeah, I'm not against bringing him in this week. Okay, so next up, we have got Christian Romero from Tottenham. Now, as you can see, there's a couple of fixtures in here that are potentially difficult ones for Spurs to navigate. But if you can rotate them well with sort of a 4 to 4.5 million defender, someone like a Gay, then I think you could do really well having Christian Romero in your team. Just 1.2% owned, and he should hopefully be playing quite a lot in this Spurs team. We know Spurs do like to rotate a little bit with the fullbacks, but less so with the centre halves. And I think we could come away with some good points from Romero in the coming weeks.
Yeah, up until Gameweek 16, which is the World Cup, he is one of the highest predicted point scorers on Fantasy Football Hub for defenders. So that is why he's made the list. Like Ben said, you can rotate him in and out pretty nicely. Spurs don't tend to concede a lot of goals anyway. If they do concede, it's usually only the 1, maybe 2. So you're not going to be losing points to, goals conceded with him. I think he's a solid option. And when he's been in the team, Spurs have looked a lot better defensively. So our third pick and moving on into midfield is going to be Antony this week. 3 games, 3 goals for the new Man United man. He's been playing pretty well, looks quite lively. Obviously, he's good to watch on the eye test, which a lot of managers have clearly seen as he's owned by 7.5% of managers already. He's obviously scored against the likes of Man City and Arsenal already. Would he be someone that you'd consider, Ben? Obviously, those fixtures look terrible coming up. Or would you just sort of hold off until maybe after the World Cup?
I'll be tempted to be a bit more patient with bringing in Antony. I think it may be best off leaving it until the World Cup and after. We could see Antony have a really good World Cup as well, and it could just tempt us all to bring him in that period where we've got unlimited free transfers. So I think for now, this is definitely a luxury transfer because a lot of people have got the in-form 7 to 8 million pound midfielders already. So it's not really a move that you need to make. But I think if you really want to try and shoot up those ranks, then he could be a good differential to go for. Okay, so next up, we've got a really interesting option here. We've got Ulsan Edouard from Crystal Palace. Now, we know that Mitrovic didn't play at the weekend. We don't know the extent of his injury fully yet, so it could be that Edouard could be a great option to bring in. He scored a couple of goals in his last couple of games, and he's looking like the Palace main man up front now. He's managed 8 starts and just 3 sub appearances, and at 5.3 million in the Crystal Palace team that have got some really, really fantastic fixtures, it could be a good idea to bring Edouard in. I like the look of him, especially at that price point.
Yeah, he's almost like a little bonus to Zaha at that price. Like, not going to cost you an awful lot of money, and you could easily bench him if you wanted to. But even with those fixtures, would you even bench him in the next 4 game weeks? I think that's 4 very scoreable games for him if he's starting up front in that Palace side. They create loads of chances, especially with the likes of Eze and Elise on set pieces as well. We saw it against Leeds. He got on the end of one of Elise's free kicks. So, yeah, really nice option and a really big differential if you're trying to save money as well up top. Fifth and final player in our transfer targets video is going to be semi-obvious one, but it's going to be Harry Kane. Obviously, in game week 12, Manchester City and Arsenal blank, leaving us with, potentially some premium transfers to make. Maybe if you're doubled up on Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland. Obviously, some relatively okay fixtures attacking wise for Spurs. Everton at home, United away, Newcastle at home, and Bournemouth away are pretty decent. Obviously, Liverpool as well. They've conceded a load of goals this season so far. 8 goals, 1 assist. He's only blanked once this season, and that was in game week 1. Are you tempted to maybe bring him in for one of your premiums, Ben?
It's really difficult for me to justify it with the players that I've got, but I definitely think he's a really good asset to own. And it's just a shame that sort of Haaland's overlooked him, because he's on course realistically for a 30 goal plus season, is Harry Kane, which is quite incredible when you think about it. So yeah, over the next few game weeks, definitely would look at trying to find ways to fit him in. But I know for a lot of FPL managers, it's going to be very difficult to do with the price point and that sort of thing. So, you know, I'd definitely weigh up your options and consider if it's worth, in your opinion, downgrading a premium midfielder to someone like a Bowen or a Maddison or a Zaha, and potentially upgrading someone like Tony and Mitrovic to Harry Kane, because he does have full potential.
So they are our 5 transfer targets for game week 11. Let us know what you're doing with your transfers at the minute. We've got another video coming out later this week talking about our game week 12 transfer plans as well, because obviously we have to navigate those blank game weeks from Arsenal and Man City, as they won't be playing next game week. So we'll be telling you guys what we're doing in those weeks, so you can maybe get a gist of maybe if you want to save your transfer this week or just go all in.
Yeah, and as usual, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the FPL Graduates on all socials. And as per usual, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week, everyone.